congratulations again on the movie.
Thanks.
Can you talk me through? This is a really interesting premise that I was very intrigued with the moment I heard about the movie. Can you talk me through sort of how you got this idea and what made you want to make it?
Yeah. In 2008, I'd read this book by Oliver Sacks called Musicophilia, which is about how music interacts with the brain. And obviously, I'm just kind of a music nerd, so I think in terms of just how songs have been helped me kind of catalog my entire life. So with those two things, I kind of came up with the concept of, how music can be powerful enough to actually make you time travel to a specific memory.
I don't know if you're anything like me, but whenever I hear a song, I know exactly the year it was released. Very few people have that. Why do you think that is?
I think, there are these sensory experiences that we have, whether it's like through music or sound or smell or taste, that I think just have this way of really taking us immediately to a moment in time. So,
Yeah. Well, what are some of the either albums or songs that for you remind you of a certain thing, whether be it something happy or something devastating?
yeah, I think I remember in like 1991, my mom moved to California, and she would drive my brothers and I in the car there and listen to Roxy Music's Avalon, and I just can so vividly see her singing along with the windows open and my brothers in the back seat, telling her to stop singing because we were annoyed. And then Tribe Called Quest takes me back to high school. Midnight Marauders was a big album for me. So was Low End Theory. Kid A takes me to college. Radiohead. And so, I can be pretty immediately into all those places very quickly listening to the song.
What would you say was the era that most sort of personifies who you are musically?
That's a tough one because I think my musical taste has evolved so much. I think as a kid, my parents listened to so much music, so a lot of it was their music. And then when I was a teenager in the 90s, like I think that definitely was, pretty momentous for me in terms of like my musical taste and development. So.
Through chatting to your cast earlier, I noticed that sort of like their even though they're younger, their taste in music is very much what their parents were into. Do you think there's a trend with this new generation of sort of holding on to sort of like real music rather than sort of the more poppy stuff?
I think we've always done that. I think it's always been sort of a reflection is like we take, whatever the generation listened to with us growing up and then evolve from that. But that is the basis from which our musical education stems from. So I think it all starts there and then evolves in whatever way that.
I think the motif of the time travel is a really interesting one, not superficially, not because, you can just say this is a sci-fi movie, but because it really is what you were saying, it's transformative. What are some of the movies for you that deal with time travel, but in a really intelligent way, that could be things that you would go back and look into?
Back to the Future is one of my favorites. It's just like, I think I watched that movie like 6 times in the theater the summer it came out. I think Interstellar handled it really beautifully. There's a movie called Je t'aime, Je t'aime it's a French film from late 60s, early 70s that's kind of amazing as well. Those 3 are kind of my tops, I would say.
I just want to go back to talking about the cast. Those two really work together. David Corenswet, is kind of in the background, but your two principal actors are just incredible together. How do you go about getting them involved?
I think definitely wanted to meet Lucy, and on our first meeting, I knew that she was Harriet. Like she walked in, I was like, oh, this is definitely Harriet, and hopefully she'll want to be a part of this. And we had a good conversation. She did, and then I was introduced to Justin, and in our first conversation, I also knew that this was just such an incredible human being, obviously a very talented actor, and they seemed like the right match to me. So once we got into rehearsals and got to see them together, I got very excited because I saw that they had great chemistry together. So,
what was it about each character that you were looking into those two actors?
I think vulnerability in both. I think they both really had a rawness to them and an openness to them, and just sort of like this movie is a very earnest kind of exploration of people who are heartbroken and trying to move on, or I think kind of step forward from that heartbreak. So they really both captured and had qualities that I think reflected the characters that I'd written. So
thank you very much, and
Thank
congratulations on such a fantastic movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey